The Army's Patriot is a surface-to-air missile system designed to replace the Hawk and Nike Hercules in defense against high-performance aircraft attacking in an intense electronic environment. Modifications have been made in its guidance system. To what extent will the modifications enhance its effectiveness? Pershing II is a quick-reaction surface-to-surface ballistic missile system that can deliver a missile with pinpoint accuracy on hard targets at extended ranges under almost any weather or terrain conditions. At its present stage of engineering development, does its guidance system meet newly extended performance requirements? The Multiple Launch Rocket System, MLRS, is the most effective artillery system in the world today. It has been adopted as standard by NATO. It carries 12 rockets, each of which dispenses 644 submunitions over its target. The rockets can be fired singly or in a ripple at 5-second intervals. Will the random samples of currently produced rockets meet the Army standards for acceptance? An air defense guided missile system, Chaparral, was first added to the Army inventory in 1969. It has recently been improved by the addition of a night vision subsystem developed to enhance its target acquisition capabilities and extend its operational effectiveness in high-density electronic environments. Does the new subsystem meet its design and development objectives? There are always questions, critical questions about the capabilities and effectiveness of today's complex weapon systems and a need for accurate answers. For the Army, those answers come from the Army's Materiel Test and Evaluation Directorate, ARMTE. Located in the Tularosa Basin, ARMTE is the Army's testing arm of White Sands Missile Range. Here in the wide open spaces of southwest New Mexico, we are continuing the work started in the 1940s, when Dr. Werner von Braun began his test programs on captured V-2 rockets. Our mission today is to sponsor all U.S. Army weapon systems brought to White Sands for test. To fulfill that mission, we offer a unique combination of people, facilities, and know-how developed through almost half a century of experience in meeting the Army's highly specific requirements. Our test planners know what it takes to provide the answers that the Army requires. They know everything we have here at White Sands and how to make the most of it. They know, for example, that we can provide an overland missile flight corridor with intermediate and small missile ranges for testing anti-tank guns and cannon artillery. We have more than 2,000 monumented instrumentation points related to the ranges that have been surveyed and are accurate to within 1 meter at a distance of 1 million meters. Launch sites vary from remote surveyed level areas where mobile support facilities can be moved in to developed sites like our mid-range Rhodes-Witt site for testing the multiple launch rocket system. It provides complete facilities and all support services needed for test programs over extended periods. As project sponsors, it's part of our job to mobilize whatever White Sands or other resources may be needed for implementing any test project. For a test of a cannon-launched guided projectile, for example, we draw from our fleet of expendable vehicles. Remotely controlled, they can be used in moving target scenarios that call for realistic signatures. If the signatures aren't needed, we fabricate targets that meet the specifications of the test plan. Effects of firing tests are evaluated through data obtained from automatic recording equipment in our instrumentation vans. For warhead impact and detonation tests, we schedule one of our specially designed impact areas. These are targets 10,000 feet in diameter with a surveyed grid of 100-foot squares. Selected launch sites allow for varied flight trajectories into the impact areas. Our hazardous test area may be needed to simulate field situations involving transportation and storage of hazardous materials. For the detonation, high-speed cameras and data collection equipment can record more than 100 test parameters. For air defense system tests requiring airborne targets, there are subscale and full-scale remote-controlled target aircraft that meet a broad range of operating specifications. The Vulnerability Assessment Laboratory provides standoff jamming and self-screening and escort jamming to conform to current threat analysis. Extended test programs are supported with less expensive validated simulations that do not require the use of aircraft. The point is that when ARMTE sponsors a test at White Sands, we can provide whatever is needed to support it. As an ARMTE customer, you'll work with one key man, a project engineer who is responsible to you and to us for what we see as a mutual effort. He is selected for your project because he's experienced with your type of test and can effect the smoothest integration of our resources and your needs. He heads up the test team, all experts on testing in their own fields. Depending on your specific requirements, you'll find them at facilities like our environmental test labs, where we can reproduce 90% of all the environments existing on Earth. The tests confirm conformance with military standards. Altitude tests can range from 50 feet below sea level to 50,000 feet above, with temperature variations from -85 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. We have portable temperature units for use at launch sites to environmentally condition missiles on their launchers. At the electromagnetic test facility, you can determine the effect that radio frequency radiation will have on the electronics of a major system. It permits evaluation of the susceptibility of electro-explosive devices and the vulnerability evaluation of electronic subsystems for guidance, control, and communications. Turntables 9 meters in diameter allow positioning of entire systems. If required, we can simulate the effects of lightning in either direct strikes or near misses. If you work with the people in our dynamic environments test labs, you can conduct fully documented static firings of rocket motors at force thrust levels up to 300,000 pounds. For vibration testing, we have a full facility of both electrodynamic and electrohydraulic exciters. One of them can reproduce seismic effects that meet Nuclear Regulatory Commission criteria. Hydraulic rams on both the vertical and horizontal axes can each deliver shocks of up to 40,000 pounds of force. Other exciters enable us to cover the full range of testing requirements: material testing, structural testing, model studies, and mechanical impedance investigations. Our microbiology lab has the largest microbiology test chamber in the United States. With spores from our microbial bank of microorganisms taken from all over the world, we can perform all military standard fungus tests on both explosive and inert test specimens. chemistry laboratory personnel and equipment provide centralized services support for White Sands Missile Range customers. Chemical tests are conducted to ensure system hardware conformance to military standards and test plans. Testing includes the analysis of explosives, missile exhaust products and off-gas volatiles, and other types of chemical testing required by projects. The products produced by natural and induced environments are analyzed to identify failure modes and to develop improved test and evaluation methodology for Army materiel. Major test instruments in the laboratory include gas chromatographs, spectrometers which cover the infrared, visible, and ultraviolet electromagnetic spectrum, an X-ray diffraction and spectrographic system, a mass spectrometer, an optical emission spectrograph, and an atomic absorption spectrometer. Other labs and the people who work in them are dedicated to other types of tests, adding up to a capability for meeting any test requirement of any program brought to White Sands. And backing the labs, you will find modern analytical equipment and instrumentation to analyze, evaluate, identify, and characterize metallurgical and chemical problems. The professional and technical staffs who work in these laboratories know your business as well as their own. One of our major facilities at White Sands is the Nuclear Effects Division, the only facility in the country that can simulate all the effects of a nuclear weapon detonation. If your test program includes meeting criteria for nuclear survivability, you'll be working with the people at Nuclear Effects Division and exposing your weapon system and components to the fast burst reactor, which produces an intense neutron and gamma ray environment. It can be operated in either a pulse or steady state mode. The linear electron accelerator produces gamma spikes, short bursts of gamma radiation that can be controlled over a wide range of exposure parameters. Survivability under electromagnetic pulse exposure is tested at the Electromagnetic Pulse Facility. Its enhanced output capability exceeds 50,000 volts under antenna heights of 22 or 50 feet. Our solar furnace concentrates radiation from the sun to create a heat source that duplicates thermal radiation from nuclear explosions. The thermal pulse shaper permits simulation of different high-energy thermal environments. A recent test was designed to simulate the blast and shock of a 1-kiloton nuclear detonation. Similar tests of varying magnitudes are conducted periodically under the auspices of the Defense Nuclear Agency. Each test is fully instrumented to measure ground shock and blast effect on structures. As well as on vehicles and equipment in order to evaluate their nuclear survivability. All tests conducted at White Sands are designed to answer questions, and one of the most important aspects of our job is to provide the means for obtaining, storing, and processing the data that will provide those answers. Our test teams include specialists in all phases of test methodology and in the instrumentation through which data are obtained and recorded. Instrumentation is an essential element at every stage of every test. Custom-designed configurations of state-of-the-art components meet specific test requirements. Instrumentation and all necessary communication links are there at all test sites, either mobile in vans or built in at established sites. Other specialists represent an extensive range of other scientific and technical disciplines, including reliability, availability and maintainability, human factors, and integrated logistics support. Our mathematicians and computer scientists, for example, integrate the data processing capabilities of White Sands into all test plans. Besides utilizing the speed, power, and capacity of available computer and data processing systems, There are network systems that tie us into databases for specific weapon systems. Automated programs enable us to enter data as it is originated and extract data when needed. The test incident reports are provided to many different agencies through database automation and electronic transmission, which quickly advises the test community about projects on test incidents. The ultimate output and the ultimate objective is to provide a solid basis for the final test report, one of the many produced every year in answer to the questions asked at ARMTE. Our test teams work with our customers to develop the data that adds up to the answers. Individuals on each team are experts on testing in their own fields. They know how to make the most of the facilities available at White Sands. Through test programs on the Patriot, they answer questions about the system's intraoperability. On FAD C2I, the Forward Area Air Defense Command, Control, and Intelligence Systems, they answer questions about its effectiveness as an automated data link. On the surface-to-surface Lance missile, they'll be working on questions about the durability of its pre-packed, storable liquid propellant. The Army can be no more effective than its weapon systems, and we know that our personal mission at ARMTE is to assure that systems in the field can exploit their tactical potential to the fullest. Effective firepower is the key to accomplishment of the Army's overall mission. Ordnance delivered on target with the highest degree of reliability. The job is to provide the answers that will prove out all aspects of every weapon system that the Army will be depending on, today and tomorrow, for the accomplishment of its mission.